everyone, welcome to Perfect Women, India's first talking magazine with me, Dr. Khushi Gurubai Thakkar, editor and publisher. My today's Perfect Woman is a true embodiment as a multi-award winning chef. We're talking about Sarah Ali Choudhury from UK with Indian roots. She is also an awardee for Perfect Achievers Awards as Perfect Global Chef of the Year 2019. In this lockdown, she came up with new invention, and that is the idea that rolled out as a PR agent. Now she is helping others to do self-PR. Let's join her and understand how we can take it and how advertising plays the major role. Hi. We're just waiting for our guest. It's Namaste. Hello, hi. Just send a request to hello. Hello everyone. Welcome to Perfect Women, India's first talking magazine with me, Dr. Khushi Gurubai Thakkar, and my guest is all set to come. She is Indian curry queen. We're talking about none other than Sarah Ali Choudhury, a UK-based chef with the roots of India, and she's all set to come here. I welcome her. We're just waiting for her to come. Okay, hi Sarah, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Very fine. Wow, glowing like your all your fans. How's
Yeah,
UK?
everybody in UK is okay. We're just getting used to relaxing the lockdown, so everybody's going back a little bit more to normal life. But it's still, early days, so we're adjusting.
Yeah, because of pandemic, everything is. We all are in a stress level because of all these things. So, how are you? What are you doing these days in pandemic? Lockdown.
So, as you know, recently I was in India and I saw you there, and the award that you've given me is, near to where all the other ones are. And although I was doing food, and I will be continuing to do food, I've recently taken up doing a different kind of business, more helping entrepreneurs to get themselves featured in magazines and newspapers.
Yes, I went through it. This is such a good initiative you have taken, because everyone is at home, and at that point of time when we have to take our self-care, so it's not just about cooking, home course and everything, but more than that, how to take care of our PR activities also. So this is a great initiative what you have taken. So I believe you have done for many newspapers and many publicity in many publications out in UK.
Yeah, well, I do quite a lot myself. In fact, I realized that I have this skill and this knack to connect with people who are in the trade and to build a relationship with them. I mean, anything to do with magazine and PR is obviously to do with public relations and how you maintain your relationship with them. So for me, in England, it was good, but also now in India, I would say wherever I go, I try to make really connections that will be useful not just for me and for everybody else, but for people who want to promote themselves, teaching them how to do it for themselves. I think is so important. PR is a very, very expensive business if you have to pay a company to do it, and the results are quite minimal. So being able to do it yourself is something that I think, especially during the lockdown period when we were at home, I was really refreshing myself and just kind of doing my own training and focusing myself on how I can get the best achievement. But along the way, I found that I've been able to help other people as well. And really what we're doing is we're not just helping ourselves or getting ourselves published. I think it's also about helping those people who are journalists, because they're also looking for stories. They're not going out like before. So we're helping them, we're addressing a problem, and I would say it's a form of collaboration.
Absolutely. So you have a team for entire procedure. It is, how do you work out? Like, what are your workout systems for this?
I do it myself. So I do it all myself. I don't have like a big team or anything like that. I sit there and I just think that most things that we do everyday life, especially, I would say, with all due respect to men, but I would honestly say women in business tend to juggle a lot more. They tend to juggle home life and, being able to work, cooking and looking after the kids and all that kind of thing. I mean, you're doing that. You've done it from when you started. I'm not saying that men don't do that, but I'm saying that generally I have found that more women than men can manage more things. So what I think one of the reasons why I think this is kind of very important for us is that if I have a big team of people, I'm going to have to pay them, I'm going to have to outsource things, and I don't think I'll understand fully how it works. But because I'm doing it myself, and because also I have spent a lot of money in the past. When I first started my business, I spent so much money just trying to get recognition or try and get out there. And one of the first things a PR company will tell you is that you have to give us 3 months before you see any kind of comeback, And so, you think about the cost you're paying, and 3 months in, how much that's going to cost before you see anything, and if you see anything. So most people, if they're good at PR, you will get something, but not really anything that you couldn't have achieved yourself. So, today I woke up this morning to find an email from somebody from Financial Times. It's a very, very big newspaper in England, who's asking me for help with an article he's doing on the food business, on the Indian food business. How is the Indian food trade managing, during this time? Now, to be approached by this kind of people is giving me the platform to be able to help other people, because then, I can say to him, like, if you need anything else, just give me a shout. I'm happy to help. I think the most important thing is that we need to be ready. So while I'm at home all the time, I always think that there are so many stories around us, in everyday life, when you're managing children, and simple things become, I always think, what would this look like in a magazine? Who would be interested in this story? And how can you make a story out of it? Even like even marriage, like we can think, oh my God, like I'm sure the relationship people would want to know about this situation, that, anything, you can make a story from anything, and people are interested in stories. So to be able to come up with it and then to write it in such a way that you're giving people, journalists, what they want, you're just answering a question for them.
Understood. So what made you to come up with such a great initiative?
Well, I love PR. I love to open a magazine and see myself. I'm probably like one of those really egotistical type people. I love to see. It gives me, really builds my self-confidence, and also it gives you recognition. I mean, if we were paying to be advertised, imagine how much you would pay as a business person. Like, for example, this platform that you're giving. A Perfect Woman in the past has done things like awards. It's recognizing people's achievement, and you give them a platform. So once you have given them an award and you say to them, we think that out of all these people, we think that you have stood out the most. Not only does it feel nice for us to win, but then, it gives us credibility in our field. That we have been recognized as this person. So even if you don't win, like if somebody comes to you and you're considering giving them an award, even if they don't win the award, the fact that you did recognize them and they were already kind of in a list, I mean, at the end of the day, the best person will win. We say that the best person will win. But even if they have not won for whatever reason, it means that they were, considered for this accolade. And it gives them credibility when they're talking about something that, you know, I was considered by this company. And when they go to apply somewhere else and they talk about what they're doing and how they've done it, people will be interested to know. And it raises the platform not just for them, but also for you as well. Because whenever we go somewhere, we're carrying this with us. This is something that we're proud of. So even when I talk about myself, I always say, you know, I won an award in India. You know, for me, I'm very proud of that award.
I completely agree to your words, because these are something very needed for today's inspirational women. So now when it comes to women, and you being a woman, what challenges you have faced during your journey?
How much time do you have? No, I would say that the challenges that I've faced are probably more to do with family-based stuff. It hasn't been a problem for me to get out. I would say before people experience real challenge, like not real challenges, but any kind of challenges, I think you always find the ones closest to you, dearest to you, are the ones that seem to have the more bigger issues. So before when you are trying to get yourself out there, you seem to do very well and people are very proud of you and they like to associate with you. But you find that your own people, I mean, forgive me if I upset anybody, but you tend to find that your own people are the hardest ones to get through. And, you know, if you can get through them, then you can get through anything, because they are going to be the biggest judge. They know you better than anyone.
Absolutely. You are being titled as Global Curry Queen. No wonder even we awarded you with the same. So how it feels to you? Share your experience with us for this.
Well, I wasn't expecting it. You know that when I came, that's my son. When I came to India, I was just expecting to have a lovely holiday, spend some time with my mom, and, you know, do a few things. I really wasn't expecting that you're going to come and give me this award, especially the way that it was done. Just amazing. And for me, it felt like it wasn't just for me to win an award. Anybody would love to win an award, and the size of it's so big, you know, and it's so nice. I had to take half of my stuff out the suitcase. And you know, I just found like it was one of the biggest reasons for somebody like me is that getting recognized in England to be a curry queen. You see, there's a very fine line. If you're recognized in England to be a curry queen, it's normally because we're wearing a sari, or because we're brown skin, or because we're Indian. But winning an award for curry queen in India, it just is like, you know, that's really, you know, for a big deal for me, a huge deal.
So now, since this is something every year, because you have been a part of the food industry for a long time, since I believe it's almost more than a decade, you are a part of your family business also. So what inspires you to be the most when it comes to cooking?
So when it comes to cooking, you see, I always find this a very difficult subject. When I'm asked to judge food awards, like a lot of times I'm asked to go and judge people's food. And I find it's one of the most difficult things, and I actually don't really like doing it. I like to get involved with the awards, but the reason I don't like doing it is because I always feel like, who can judge somebody's taste? Like, what food I like doesn't mean you're going to like it. So, you know, and what I think is really tasty, really delicious, or if, you know, I find my mom's food is best, you know, best for me. Doesn't matter where I go. If my mom's cooking, I'll choose that. And I think a lot of people have that feeling as well. But I always feel when people present it, it looks so nice and it's so lovely. And then you try it, but you didn't find something that you were looking for. And then it doesn't mean that it's not good. It means that it depends on the experience you've had on trying the food. So if we are sitting down and we're eating and I have like 20 judges and one of the judges happens to be a barrister in a law firm, how the hell would he know what, you know, a good curry is? You know, and so it depends on people's experience, what kind of background they're from. It depends on so many things. So I never really like judging food. And when it comes to food itself, I think we found that during lockdown, everybody became a chef.
Absolutely.
Everybody was a chef, everybody was cooking. And I was like, it's very difficult to maintain yourself in a way, especially if you don't have a restaurant, to be a leader in the field where everybody thinks that they're leading. So one of the things that I decided to do was, look, I don't want to be competing in that way. I feel like my thing is more of a global market now. Hence, we're having this conversation, But my ideas and my plans is to actually move sort of further away from the more local niche and spread out in a bigger way. So me starting the PR thing was initially to help people in Indian restaurants, because a lot of those people, they are not born here, they didn't study here, they came from somewhere else and they achieved a business through a lot of hard work. And there have been, in many cases, people have wanted to publicize themselves, they don't know how to do it, or they don't have the time, and those people who maybe don't have the time, they don't have the money to pay somebody a big sum of money to do that. So my purpose initially was to help those people, especially entrepreneurs or restaurant owners, to go and help them to get more recognition in this field. And that's maybe why I started, but it just kind of went off from restaurant because other people started asking for help with their business, any kind of small business or entrepreneur. I'm really happy to help them because I always find that I find it exciting to do different areas, not just food.
Yeah, that's interesting. So suppose if anybody wants to join you or probably seeks that help from you, so how come these people can approach you?
Well, they can just come through their social media channel, like through here, and they can just send me a message. It's really easy to find me. They can just type my name in any of the social media platforms. On Instagram, it's Insta Curry Queen. On Twitter, it's Sarah Curry Queen. But I find, if anybody wanted to approach, we would do it. And if somebody came through with people I know, so like, for example, we're talking about this, and if somebody came through on this way and they said, I saw your video on Perfect Woman, then I would even, I'd be helping them even more, because this is something that I really believe in, and I support Perfect Woman. So anybody who was to come through that platform, they would be given like a special price and that kind of thing, because I'm working from home, I'm a woman in business, so I need the business, but also I want to help the people as well.
Absolutely. I completely agree to your words. And what you say, what's your say when it comes to empowering womanhood? What's your say on that?
Women empowerment is a funny thing. I always think that women find it easier to be empowered if they have a man behind them. It's a lot of the men who do that for women. I don't even know if women empower women that much. There are a few who do emotional help. But when you start becoming quite successful or you try to go further, I tend to find women can be quite harsh. I've found much easier. There are a few women who I can stand out in my mind, but many people have this kind of men, especially if they see some women who are doing very well, they like to help them even more. And they're very supportive. And I've been helped by many men, more than women. And my dad, he's another great advocate for me. He's very helpful, and he just does whatever he can to support me. So he's my number one fan and my number one hero. But I always think that when I think of my dad, I think there are a lot of men like that out there who are very supportive of their wives or their daughters or their sisters. And, hats off to them, because we are from that culture where it hasn't always been supported in that way. A lot of times it isn't supported. But I can honestly say that I find the best way to having women empowerment is by having a man behind you.
Absolutely. I completely agree to you. This is something very new to hear, because normally it is something different than others. But of course, your each and every thoughts and each and every say has been valued equally out here. And now, since we're talking about you, so how are you balancing your work life along with the activities, what you've been doing, all these things to helping others, getting themselves into a good PRO-ship? So how do you balance your work and life, since you're a mother of 4 kids?
Yeah. So I have 4 kids. My eldest is, I was really clever, right? Because I had 4 children and the first 2 were girls. So my oldest is 18 and 16. So I get them to look after the small ones. And to be honest with you, I'm managing, and I think, since lockdown, I feel like I've been way more productive. Just having the opportunity to not have to wake up so early, not have to take anybody to school or anything like that, it's kind of given me a lot of opportunity to be more productive. I did a lot of training, a lot of research, and I spend most of my day. I enjoy it, to be honest. I think that the real passion, and when you become really truly successful, is when you're working but you actually want to work. I enjoy it. I enjoy to do what I'm doing. So even when, like, if the children are awake, they need my attention. Like, so we go to the beach. I live very close to the beach here. So we'll go out to the beach or whatever, or we go for a drive, or, we sit down and eat something. But when they go to sleep, that's really when my mind works much better in the nighttime, when everybody's sleeping. And I find like I can do 2-3 hours solid hard work, which will be very productive for me. And then I find in the morning when I wake up, I feel quite good that I've achieved that in the nighttime without disturbing anyone, without taking my time away from anybody. I recently was reading about the importance of having more sleep. And I think during lockdown, I have definitely been sleeping a lot more. And it improves your mood. It improves so many things. But one of the new things that I decided to do is I keep saying I'm going to do this. I really am going to do this now that I said it, but is yoga. I really want to take up yoga. I do a lot of meditating in the evening. So I did a kind of real 3-hour full-on hard work when the children go to sleep. And then after that, I feel like my mind's so heavy, like I can't sleep. And then what I do is I do some meditation and I fall asleep. But the yoga thing is something I'd really like to take up more, like as a permanent, I would say, hobby or interest that I have that I've never done before. So I want to start doing that, and I'm hoping that will have a positive effect as well.
Wow, that's amazing. When it comes to teens, since you're a mother of 4 kids and the teenagers are all set, so how it is to handle teenage kids?
Oh my God. Like, teenage kids is just another ball game, I think with my 18-year-old, she's very much, they're like friends. We are friends, I would say. I think when I was growing up, I was quite, maybe not, I wouldn't say controlled like that, but it was very, if I wanted to go out, we had to ask permission. Can we go out? Can we do this? And it was always no. Even if I gave advance notice, I'm going out on this day, everybody was okay. And then on the day, even my dad, on the day, he'd be like, Mum, not today, darling. I'm not feeling very comfortable with you going out. So I was always kind of felt like I was stopped to do things that I wanted to do. And I think to an extent, even after marriage as well, because I lived with my in-laws, and then there was, expectations, so many expectations. But I feel like now with my older children, especially with the girls, I really don't want them to feel like anything stops them, because I think that will ultimately affect the way that they, what career they choose, how they live their life, how they choose their life partners. All these things will have a really big effect on it. So I try to be a cool mom. But on the other side, I'm still human and I'm still a mom. So even though I'm trying to be free, I'm still a bit like, yeah, you can go out. And then like, okay, when are you coming back? But I don't want to, be too harsh. But at the same time, you need to let them enjoy themselves. You need to let them be free. We're living in a time when, when we were growing up, it used to be you can't talk to boys, because I was told I would get pregnant if I spoke to a boy. It was terrifying. And so now I think with everything going on around us, you have to worry more about if your daughter's going to go out with a girl than a boy. So I think we're living in a time when things are definitely changed and continually changing. So we have to just embrace it and just hope for the best. And if you instill good values in your children, whatever they do is their choice, it's their life. So ultimately they have to make the choice. But if you do your bit and you kind of give what you can. I think, you know, once everybody gives the attention in that area, I think the children get it, because I feel very safe with my kids. I feel like I can trust them. So I have that relationship with my children where I feel like we're friends. I know the kind of thing they like, and I like to help them to achieve what they want to achieve. With the boys, I'm definitely very different than with the girls. When I was growing up, it was like the girl's job was to do the washing or to wash the dishes, and oh, your brother's finished eating, move his plate. And I'd be like, what? You know, but, you know, and I think this has been something that I've seen a lot when growing up. But then I'm born in the 70s, and maybe that was the time when all of that was valid. But now I definitely work more on getting my boys to do things. My boys do way more than my girls in the kitchen.
Wow.
My son helps me to cook. My other son, he's one of them. My youngest one is 8 and my older one is 10. So my 10-year-old, it's like his job to hoover and to throw the bins. And my 8-year-old, he helps me to cook. And, you know, I've got him peeling the onions and doing the garlic. And, you know, when he first started, he said, that's a girl's job. Where did you get this mentality? That it's a girl's job? I said, the majority of men who are chefs, the majority of chefs are men. So it's not you know, a girl's job. And he said, no, but in the house, it's the mentality, things they see, things they hear. And it's like, no way, because I would like, when they get older and they get married, I would really like to have that relationship with my daughter-in-laws, that they say, wow, my mother-in-law is so cool, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have that open mind towards the girl powering. This is the first step, because the teaching from home is the first step, and this is what I believe also. It's really wonderful to hear from you. And apart from this, since you are right now in UK, and since this is the time when everybody is at home and everyone is going through the stress level, and we are fighting a lot, many of people, because of economy also, people are getting into depression and all. So what is your take towards depression, anxieties and stress levels?
Well, I think that's a really big topic at the moment. Mental health at the moment is so big. We are just, you know, hearing things all the time, but we never see ourselves as somebody who suffers from that. And maybe it's because we like to think that we're very in control of ourselves, and that we are, you know, we're capable of maintaining our way of life. But I think that to some extent, everybody goes through stuff, whether it's with their business. And I think I told you I do a lot of research on this, and obviously I'm in the food business. The type of food you eat is very important to your mental health and your well-being. It can have a really big effect. I'm not saying that I'm the healthiest eater. I am absolutely not. I love my snacks. I love my crisps and chocolates and all the bad stuff. But I found that during lockdown, I started to drink from when I went to India last in January. I just love coconut water all the time. And it's not, you know, we can't get it here like how you will have it in India, but we can get some close stuff. And I find I've been drinking a lot of coconut water a lot, and that is kind of good for me, feel like for my skin and all that kind of stuff. But also some of the research that I was doing about mental health and improvement, my brother's just tuned in. Hi, Sunny. So the other thing I would say for sort of your own health and self-improvement would be things like exercise. So if you're really depressed, even feeling like jealous or anything like that, those kind of feelings, the first thing that you should do is take up an activity that you've always wanted to do, but you've never done it before. So I'm not talking about doing something that you already do. I'm talking about doing something you've never done before that you wanted to do. So maybe it's like salsa dancing or yoga or whatever it is, and you do that for 66 days. Because people used to say 21 days, and then they said 30 days. But actually, 66 days will implement it as a completely new talent, something that becomes a new habit for you. And if you follow it virtuously, for 66 days, you will find that whatever was actually troubling you at the beginning, by the end of the 66 days, you wouldn't have the same stress level that you had had. So yeah, it's a 66-day journey, I would say. But during that time, if you are like you're sitting around at home and you're just feeling really upset about something, the more that you're not doing something, I mean, I'm telling people really stuff they already know. I'm sure that everybody who's listening to this already knows that, but sometimes you need to hear it from somebody else. You know, if you're sitting around at home, all that will happen is this thing is going to keep eating away at your head. It eats your mind, and it just affects you in such a bad way. It affects your mood, even how you're feeling. Like you feel like you're hungry all the time because there's some kind of emptiness inside. So, you know, you need to do exercise. Exercise is the first step to any kind of self-improvement, and it's been proven to get rid of any kind of depression. So even if you're not somebody who's kind of like a kind of fitness freak, or you enjoy doing weights or training or running or anything like that, even if you're just deciding that, well, I don't normally walk, so today I'm going to walk, even that will make a difference. And if you surround yourself with nature, even things like walking on the grass bare feet, this is supposed to have a really positive effect on your well-being. So
Okay.
I think, yeah, things like that, small things, make really big changes over time.
So these are the inspirational words which many of you miss it out in our day-to-day life. So talking about our food, what food plays when it comes to stress level or anxiety? Food can be the best medicines?
Yeah, definitely. Because if you're sitting around eating things that maybe, as I said, when you're feeling a bit low or depressed, we tend to feel hungry, and we just eat things that we can easily access, easy to make stuff. Nobody can be bothered to cook anything because our mind's so functioning on another problem, and we tend to eat bad stuff. But I think I'll be honest. I follow my brother. He's tuned in here as well. He's very much into fitness and health and well-being and stuff. And what I found is I normally turn to him and see what is he eating, because he does so much fitness. I find he eats things like salmon and like brown rice and broccoli, for example. So if you're eating this kind of food, you're addressing the things that your body needs, and you're eating a bit of healthy, a bit of the protein, a bit of the carbs in a measured dynamic. And then what you find is, if you eat this regularly, that affects your mood as well. Whenever I'm feeling really like fed up with myself, and I can see, I get physical signs, like I can actually see. So like my skin at the moment, I've been drinking, it's not too bad, but you can see this here, right? When I get stressed, this goes really, really red, and it goes on both sides, and my skin becomes very dry, and you get kind of, you need more hydration and all this sort of thing. But I found that changing the diet completely changes how you feel in your mind. So even when you make your first step to changing, like I'm going to change my eating habit, even if it's once a day, or even if it's once a week, you start changing it, you start to feel like it's achievable. And when you feel it's achievable, that's when you'll be able to do it.
So what you advise to have for the first when you wake up in the morning, and what is your first intake? What is that one tip for all our fans, all our viewers who have been watching you right now?
So, if I pretend that I have some amazing lifestyle diet, I absolutely do not. I just remember I have 4 children. So whenever I wake up, I have to think about what they want to eat. This morning I had hummus and pita bread when I woke up with fresh tomato. And it's very light, and I find it really quite nice. But then that's never enough for my kids. So I made egg fried rice. Yesterday I had jasmine rice, the like kind of sticky rice. I had made some jasmine rice. So this morning I made egg fried rice with this leftover rice. And I made a pan there. I see it's finished. So everybody enjoys that. And then later on we'll have something else. Yesterday we had salmon with green beans and broccoli and like I said, with the jasmine rice. Just to be honest, because I'm feeding children, I'm a lot more careful. If it was just me, I can eat anything. I'm fine. I don't have to kind of think too much about what do I need to eat. I can just pick up anything and eat it. But we're from a restaurant background. We have been in the food industry all my life. And we've always had food around us. And we always also had people cooking for us. Because we're in the restaurant, we had all the chachas. We call them chacha. They're, working with us from when we're young. So when we want to eat something, we just ask them, I'm hungry, and they make you something. So, if it's dal and chapati or whatever it is, they'll make it for you. So when you have somebody doing it for you, it's much easier to be healthier. And in India, you have a lifestyle like that. I love this about the lifestyle in India, is actually you have people doing stuff for you. Here, we have to do everything ourselves. If we want anything, you have to go do it yourself. We don't have anybody to look after the children or to cook for us or to clean the house. So we have to learn to be able to maintain this alone. So definitely in terms of that kind of lifestyle, I 100%, if I had an opportunity to move to India, just for having my own chef, I would do it.
Absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. That's nice to hear about. Now, what is the tip that you advise to people for during this pandemic if they want to become a chef like you, because you are an inspiration for so many people out here. So what is your tip and advice for the newbies who want to be a chef in life?
Newbies, I would say, number one, do your research. Number two, find your niche. Like, you have to find an angle that you will be seen. If you're a woman who's going in, that is already an angle. And number three, I would say, place yourself so that you can create opportunity for yourself, things that people can market you on. So if you're doing anything, make sure that you're a marketable person, that people could write about you because you're doing something that's worth talking about, even if it's something that is for community, or if it's, I don't know, feeding homeless people, or doing something with children, or something to enhance other people's life. Because whenever you're doing something to help someone else, that's really what fundamentally will be a very positive thing for everybody. So if everybody gains from your business, then it will be easy for you to be successful. But I would say one of the other things that really should be noted when you're starting your own business is to make sure you do your research every single day, especially when you're in the mood. Create content for yourself, for your social media channels, and be on social media. People who think that they can make a business in this day and age without being on social media are like, what are you living in? Because everybody is doing it. And if people say, well, I want to be a bit different, you can be different, but you won't stand out because nobody will find you. Seeing as everybody is doing the social media thing right now, it's important to be with the trend, And I suppose that's probably some of the things that I would say. The other thing, one of the things that I did when I was starting, which I spent 2 years of my life giving away. I did not expect a return for it. And the reason that I did that was because I thought, if I do 2 years, from year 3, I will start making money. And on the first 2 years, what I did was to get myself out, to get known, you have to be available. So if you start doing a business today and then tomorrow you say, this is my business and this is what I'm charging, people don't know if you can, if you can do what you say you're going to do. People don't have confidence in you yet because you're a new business. So to build yourself up and to get the confidence that you need to give something back. So I spent 2 years doing that. I would go around to like food festivals all over the country. And, when they use, what is your charge, or how much do you charge? Where I could have asked for money and I could have been paid, I actually chose to say, I'm happy to do this for free, but I would really like promotion. I would really like you to promote me. you know, they appreciated that so much because everybody's on a budget. So if one person says, oh, it's okay, you don't need to pay me, but can you do this? What you will find is people will promote you way more than you had ever expected because they feel that you added value to them. So if you're adding value to people, you will, you know, you maybe won't get the money, but you will get another form of payment. So I did that for 2 years, and I believe that that's probably the main cause and reason for a lot of success for me, is because I gave that away. I continue to do a lot of things free as well. I also help people who are starting in business just to give them some guidance, tips on how to do things. But I feel like it started as something with food, but it's gone into something much bigger, becoming a global leader, being asked to speak in public, being paid to speak, being taken, you know, somebody pays for your flight and sends you somewhere to go and speak somewhere. That's something not to be taken lightly. I was even asked by, you know, the Wonder Chef company, Sanjeev Kapoor's company, as part of the brand, to promote their brand for them. So you gain other opportunities, and it will always, if you give something away, never feel like I've given that and I didn't get anything, because if you give something, you will always get it back tenfold.
Absolutely, I completely agree to your words, and these are the amazing parts, because you are the brand ambassador for Sanjeev Kapoor UK-based products also. So that's a good thing. So how do you define success?
I define success in, I know people say, oh, if you're, you know, you have a house or you have I really do define success by being able to go out and buy what you want. I know maybe some people wouldn't like to hear that from me, but the reality is, if you are able to go out and you like something and you can buy it and you don't have to ask somebody for the money, or you don't need to depend on anybody, or you can maintain yourself, your home, your children, I define that as a success. Because in today's world, it's so hard to do this, you know, to manage life like that. So I define that as a success, but I also define it that if you can keep the relationships of your friends and your family close throughout the time of your kind of working life, your career, and keeping everybody close with you is also, I would say, a sense of achievement.
That's wonderful. And talking about perfect woman, I would like to know, who is your perfect woman? No wonder you yourself is perfect woman for us. Today you are our perfect woman. But when it comes to you, who is your perfect woman?
My perfect woman, I mean, obviously I would say my mom, first of all. If I don't say my mom, I'll probably get beaten up by her. Like, what do you mean somebody else is? No, she's not like that. She's definitely, in my opinion, she is the most giving person, and she's got really very nice ways. You know, she's more than a mum to me. So I would say my perfect woman is definitely my mum. But if we were talking about somebody who is not, you know, who is not my family or who is not linked to me, I really admire some of those women like, you know, Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama. Those people I find really quite amazing, some of the things they have. But I'm a huge fan of Madhuri Dixit as well, huge fan. I have always been since I was, you know, quite young, and even, you know, and now even more so, because I just love that, you know, this was a #1 queen of Bollywood who went and she left Bollywood in a time when she was a queen, and she got married and she maintained, and she's come back. And she's still, you know, it's obviously much harder for her now, but I just love that she's just insane. She can carry herself so well. She looks amazing. She dances so nice, but her smile is priceless. So yeah, definitely, you know, if it's not my mom, I'd say I love those people. Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama, and
Wow. So in case, suppose, assume, if you're not been into a chef or food industry, what would be the chosen profession for you?
it would definitely be Bollywood. I would have been the next Kangana with my big mouth. No, I love Kangana because she's just so real, you know, and you can really relate to her when she says something, and, you know, you just think she's so real, and There's no pretense, and she's not just trying to be nice in front of the camera. She's just being honest, and I really admire that.
So you are born not just about for acting, but as a multitask woman, from being to food industry, from being into the acting world, and today you have recently joined for a PR firm, which is amazing, for which is going to be a great help for the people who really want. So how you describe advertising and publicity? How important it is in one's role, in one's profession?
I think without advertising, publicity, marketing, you don't have a brand. You know, it's so important for you to get into any kind of form of advertising, whether it's in a magazine, whether it's somebody writing a blog about you, or you know, and it's important to have other people doing it, not just you self-promoting yourself that, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. It needs to be you know, like on another platform where somebody else is talking about you, because someone else is recognizing your achievements, or recognizing you as somebody who is a leader in your field. It's really important. So I think without marketing, it would be very difficult to start a business. I couldn't imagine that could work very well. And I know that years ago people were able to do. I know people personally who started a business years ago, and they go with word of mouth, and you know, like somebody told somebody else, and someone else told someone else. You know, they spent their whole life without ever advertising. And, you know, when you speak to them, I can understand the achievement they feel, but I can also feel like I almost feel sorry for you, because had you even advertised once, you could have achieved so much more than what you have achieved. That's how I see it.
Absolutely. So do you have some certain plans for advertising or PR, what you do?
I'm doing like the PR thing. So if people want to do something, they can get in touch with me, and you know, depending on what they're trying to do, I will have a look at everything, see how I can help them. If I can't help them, which I find, you know, I think I would be able to help most people, but if I couldn't help them, I would say, look, you know, I can't really help you, but maybe direct them how they could be helped. But if I can help people, then I'll just see, this is how much time it will take, and this is how much it will cost. And, you know, and help them to either teach them how to do it or to do it for them.
Absolutely. That's really wonderful. Now, last but not the least, now I'll be sharing your links to my post also, so that if anybody wants to reach out directly to you, they can definitely approach you, and you can accordingly guide them towards a sophisticated way. Now, talking about one perfect woman, what are your wishes for all my perfect women's readers and viewers?
So the people who are involved with Perfect Women, you know, I've been following you for a few years, and of course getting to meet you. I haven't been to your event yet, but I hope that in the next event I could be present there, I hope, after the lockdown. But I wish everybody all the, you know, very best success in whatever you're doing, whether it is being part of Perfect Women with the fashion and the shows that you do, or if it's with anything else. I really, truly wish you all the best of luck. And, you know, we would be happy to collaborate in some form, introducing the UK market in India, and us as from the UK being introduced into India market is always, you know, very positive way for us to move forward. But definitely hold on to your dreams and make them happen. Even if you think this isn't happening, make it happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. And one wish for all the people in lockdown. We are going through coronavirus, COVID-19. That is something, a very serious thing happening to, in where the world is suffering. So what is your one message for all the viewers?
So I couldn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. The line went funny.
We are going through COVID-19 coronavirus, which the world is suffering for now. So what is your one message for everyone, not just India? It's all about all humans. The complete earth is under this.
So, I mean, everybody is going through this together. And for one of the first time in our life, the whole world has gone through something together in this kind of way. And we hope that we don't have to do it again, because this has really had a big effect on everybody, people's business, people's livelihood, you know, even how they can eat. So I would say that moving forward, we should be taking into account this was a real lesson for everybody, to just be more careful in the future how we're doing things, the contact that we have with people. You know, like I used to go out and I'll see my friends and hi, how are you, and hug and kiss. You know, like I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do it, but I just feel like, is that safe? Is it safe for me? Is it safe for them? So I think number one rule would be just stay safe, keep yourself safe, keep your family safe. But also think about the future, because we had this, I feel it was like a lesson for us. I don't know about yourself in India, but me personally, just before lockdown, I was running around here, there, where I was hardly at home. I was hardly, I was just out all the time. And I feel like, was that so productive for me? Because now, since I've been at home, so, since the lockdown and doing my work, I feel like my work now is way more productive than before. So, is it important to be out so often? Is it important to be away from the house? Can some things be done around where you are? Maybe that will be more sort of profitable for people, more productive for people. So I would say, have a good look at the way the world is going, and maybe everybody just slow down a little bit.
Thank you so much, Sarah. This is really working wonders for everyone. Now, since you are a food engineer, one tip, one food that can help people for good metabolism.
So, doing a lot of research on Ayurvedic diet and balancing, and it has not been very simple to follow. It's quite complex, the different type of food to eat in the daytime and in the nighttime and how you eat. I've been doing quite a lot of work on that and looking into it, and I think as any doctor and or anybody else would say to you, I think that just staying with the green, anything green is good. Like any of the vegetables, like spinach. I love bindi. I love bindi. So I'm happy to eat. I can eat that all day and not feel like I'm missing out on anything. So I would say vegetables, you can't go wrong. If you can eat that, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. But I always wonder with the chicken and stuff, sometimes I wonder, this chicken is so big and it's so, has it been injected with something or whatever? But just stay with the kind of mindful eating. That doesn't mean don't ever eat KFC or something. Yeah, because I do. But I mean, really just be a bit more mindful about when you're eating some other things. And if your main diet most of the time is healthy, you don't feel so bad to eat out every now and again. But actually, the more healthy you eat, the more your body requires it. And you will be able to answer yourself, like ask yourself when you're eating, how are you feeling at that time? And, I've found that, especially more recently, I said that I'm getting very interested into the Ayurvedic diet. I found when I was last at my mum's house, she made bindi for me, and like I said, I can live off that. I just think that kind of food is so nutritious for your health, but also like for your soul. It like feeds your soul. It just feels good. You eat well, and your mind is good. I think that's one of the things that we should think about when we're eating. Just be mindful of what you're eating.
It was really an amazing session, Sarah. Thank you so much for all your valuable tips, all your valuable says, because this is the main inspiration every woman wants. So here, I really thank you, and from the entire team of Perfect Women, for you to be a perfect woman for my today's session. And we'll be again joining you very soon. And the next topic will be again all about PR and advertising firms. So probably we'll join up again soon, and we'll be giving here in my box. I'm going to share all your links where people can approach you directly, and where you get your valuable people. You can be a great help for them also. Okay.
Of course.
So yeah,
thank you
so much, and my regards to everyone at home, Rafiq ji, kids, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.